Hi, my name is Marietta Mehanni, and this week's Aqua Tip is a travelling move, but we're doing the swivel. Now, I call it the swivel, but you could call it a cross-country ski with rotation, whatever. But this one came from one of the people in my Aqua Mentoring group. Her name's Bev Selway, and she's from Adelaide in South Australia, Australia. And she said that she uses this travelling move quite frequently in her classes, and she travels sideways with it. And I was like, really? Oh my God, I want to try that out. And it works so well. So I'm going to travel down this way. So we're crossing over. I love it. Come back. And I don't think you really need to coach very much, because once you get the class to do it, this exercise, then you say move this way, you don't really need to tell them to push the water harder that way so that they travel. They do it automatically, which is awesome. That's what we like. Now, the thing I really like about Bev's suggestion is the fact it requires rotation. So much of the stuff that we do traveling is going to be forwards, it's going to be backwards, moving in the sagittal plane. A lot of the stuff we're going to be traveling in the frontal plane. But this has got that rotation, that transverse action, but we're also moving in this direction side to side. Love it. So then it got my juices flowing, and I was thinking, oh, I want to see if this works going forwards and backwards. Let's see. So cool, absolutely. I've always done this move on the spot. Go back, it's a good cardio move. Never would I have ever thought. It's actually a really good exercise. Really feel it across my upper body, my heart rate's up. I would have never thought of doing that move with travel. So thank you, Bev, for opening up my mind to now 2 new exercises, traveling forwards and back and traveling sideways with the swivel action. So good, I love it. Thank you so much, Bev. And that is this week's Aqua Tip. Righto, the swivel. Now, like I said in the pool, I've never thought of doing this traveling, either sideways or forwards. It's not the world's easiest exercise to demonstrate on pool deck, and the frame just makes it easier. Of course, you want to demonstrate it on the spot first, and then you ask people to move, because it's too hard to try to do it and also move yourself. Because you're doing this sort of motion, it's very difficult, because you've got to basically jump up and switch your legs in the opposite direction, and most of us aren't that athletic, and for some of us it could actually lead to an injury. Therefore, for those who do not have an aqua frame, this is my suggestion. You start with a cross-country ski, and then you ask people to start to take their legs across their body, and that's all I demonstrate. And then I'd ask them to make sure that they got their legs further across, using my arms to demonstrate the leg action so that they're actually fully rotating. I would stand still and demonstrate what that final position would be. And then if you like, you can also then take the leg behind you so they can see where the final position is when they land. So all I did was I took my leg from here to there, but start with cross-country ski. Otherwise, you're going to have people actually do this, and that's not what we're after. We want the jump to happen in between. Of course, if you have a frame, well, that's easy then, isn't it? Because you've got something to weight there, and you can go here, there, here. And I like to use it in this position. Add the arms. Now, Once they've got it on the spot, clearly that's when you can get them to travel. And you say, now I want you to swivel and move down this way of the pool. Or I want you to do the same exercise and now move towards me. Move towards me, now move backwards. And they're not going to change much other than the pull across the body is going to be a bit more powerful when they're going forwards, and the push away from the body is going to be a little bit more powerful as they try to move backwards, right? So they've got to push the water forwards to go backwards, pull the water back to move forwards. And then of course if they're moving to the side, there's going to be a little bit more emphasis as they take the arm across so that their body can actually go in that direction. But the key thing here is the lift. It's during the lifting phase that they're actually traveling in. So you really want to make sure that when they're doing the swivel, they're rebounding, pushing off the toes. I'm showing you all the cues here. Pushing off the toes and throwing the arms away from the body. I always say open fingers and try to take your hand arm's length away from the body. So there's a lot to say, there's a lot to share. But on the spot first, make sure they've got lots of height and then encourage them to move forwards and back. They will automatically do the push in the correct direction. You don't have to really tell them how to do that, so that they can actually go in the desired movement pattern that you want them to go in. But then you can emphasize it. Remember, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. We love Newton's laws. And so if you want them to go forwards, you pull the water back a little bit harder. If you want them to go backwards, push the water forwards harder. You want them to move this way, you want to move the water that way. If you want to move this way, there's a bit more emphasis that way. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, get in the pool, try it out. It was such a great way to add a bit of variety to a movement pattern that I've done on the spot, or I've actually turned that one around on the spot, but I've never thought of moving it. Fabulous. Thank you very much, Bev. Hit the subscribe button, please, and share this with your friends. And that is this week's Aqua Tip.